So today I want to talk about the brand new game mode, which is Deep Investigations added to IS2. In order to unlock this game mode, you'd need to have cleared a Phantom ending at least once in the regular mode. If let's say you're still struggling to clear Phantom in the normal difficulty, do note that it's perfectly fine for you to do so in the easy difficulty in order to get your Deep Investigations unlocked. If you're still struggling, you can go ahead and watch some of my Crimson Adventures videos to get some ideas on the stages that you're struggling. And eventually, you'll be able to clear Phantom ending at least once in order to enjoy this super fun mode. You have all the time in the world to unlock this, since Crimson Solitaire is here to stay permanently throughout the game. So, once you've unlocked this, you'll be introduced to 12 different scenarios that have very varying conditions. The reward for clearing them are pretty big. You get Tier 5 materials, Tier 4, EXP, LMD, and skill summaries out of doing each of the scenarios, and these are all first time clear rewards. After you've cleared a particular scenario, you will see this grey little marker and also this stamp that says investigation completed. Even if you've cleared any of the scenarios and you want to replay them because you find them super fun, you can feel free to do so. These are all super good stuff for you to enjoy, especially if you're no longer focusing on your castle notes. Now, in order to get the rewards, you just need to clear the mission objective. You don't need to defeat any ending. So as long as you do things like what it says here, simply enter 6 different combat nodes in a single run. Maybe you see another one. This one says enter downtime recreation 6 times. Once you've hit the target, then you'll be given all the rewards straight away. So they're going to be pretty simple missions for you to do. Now, many of you might be curious to see whether you can unlock endings or collectibles when you play in the scenario mode. You are not able to do so. As it says here, your current unlock status in Crimson Exhibition, that's the place where you have all the artifacts, has no effects on the collectibles events that may appear. This will not unlock any Crimson Exhibition and will have no effect on your collectible status. Meaning to say, if let's say you still have some collectibles with missions that you haven't completed, you can't do it in the Deep Investigations mode in order to do so. But at the same time, this Deep Investigation will also not count towards any medals that you might be trying to achieve. But in Deep Investigations, every single item available in IS2 will be unlocked and playable throughout this time. So you have all 210 artifacts at your disposal when you play this 12 scenario mode. Alright? So these are pretty fun stuff for you to go and experience, especially if you have not collected every single collectible and you want to see what they do within this particular game mode. There are some especially powerful things like Shadow, End of Times. You're going to see Golden Chalice as well, which quite a lot of you haven't unlocked. So these are all going to be super good stuff. One more quick thing to mention is that if you're trying to unlock candles or the castle notes that you see on the top right of my screen, you're not able to get any candles in Deep Investigation. This particular game mode is simply meant for fun playthroughs. If you're trying to farm out your levels so that you can get the Phantom L2D skin, you'll have to do that in the regular mode instead. Now, there are some scenarios that I want to highlight in particular. There are many people who have suggested as to how IS2 can improve. Maybe you guys want to have more control over the artifacts you have. You want to have less RNG, more RNG. You want to see something even harder. Maybe you want to see a lot of temporary recruitments because you want to be able to play with a stash of many operators that you have never seen before. That is what all these 12 scenarios will be providing. So let me run through some of the highlights of these 12 where I believe many of you should experience. Let me first talk about the new player's wet dream. Yeah, it's quite a way to say it, but for reals, these 2 modes that you see here are like a new player's fantasy. It could be a mid-game one and it can also be a late-game player. Reason being, you get the artifact Shadow straight off the bat when you start on the first floor. Shadow increases the probability of getting temporary recruitments by 50%, meaning to say you'll be seeing a lot of temporary recruitments that allows you to play with 6 stars, 5 stars or 4 stars that you've never seen before. Fully maxed out, max level, max masteries and everything. So this is extremely fun for you to use, and at the same time, in each of these 2 scenarios, they also give artifacts that benefit specifically the ranged units and the melee units. So for instance, in this one, you'll get Necklace of Presence, which I believe increases ranged units attack, Royal Liquor will improve offensive and defensive recovery, and Dreaming Essence improves auto recovery. So these are all super crazy stuff for you to be using. And you start off with 2 snipers and 2 casters that you get to hire, with 2 of them being temporary recruitments. Then, at the same time, During exploration, the appearance of sniper and caster recruitment vouchers will be increased. Now, it's not going to increase to the point where you don't see any of the other classes anymore. You'll still see your defenders, vanguards appearing. It's just that they are going to be much more seldom compared to these two classes. And at the same time, related collectibles will also be increased. So you're going to see a lot of collectibles that specifically buffs the range units. For instance, you're going to get range attack up, maybe you get physical damage up, arts damage up, that sort of thing that will help you specifically in this playthrough. The same thing is going to happen to the ground offensive, whereby you get artifacts that benefit specifically the melee units. For example, there's the artifact that increases attack when your melee operators are only blocking one enemy. Ribbon of Honor allows those who can block 3 or more enemies to heal for 150 HP per second. And then there's also Shadow being given. This time around, you're going to play with guards and defenders, with their recruitment vouchers appearing a lot, and also more collectibles. These two runs are especially fun. I really highly recommend you to start off with these two, and you might even want to replay them in the future. If you're someone who don't have many operators built in the game, give these two a try, because you get to experience so many people that you have never touched on before. While the previous two can give you an easier time in IS2, this one might add on the challenge. So Inscrutable Path gives you Blade Dance, White Flower, and Shadow straight off the bat. This is nice because you get Shadow early, meaning you get a lot of temporary recruitments again. But the bad thing is that White Flower tends to screw people if they don't know how to use it. It basically shuffles the DP cost of all your operators. But if you strategize well with it, it can benefit you also. Then at the same time, you also get a hard mode artifact, which can be very painful to work with. And there's also the blind hallucination that is constantly applied to all 5 floors. So this can be pretty painful overall to experience. But even so, don't worry, the mission is still simple, it's just gain 20 hope. So with enough leveling up, you'll be able to clear off the mission. But if you want to beat the final boss in this particular scenario, it can be pretty challenging. Another notable fun one is Unconventional Methods, whereby you have no operators to start with, you simply only have life points to use. End of Times is an artifact which will let you restart or at least proceed to the next stage even if you lose all your life points. Eventide Terror stuns enemies for each enemy that enters the blue box, and Excessiveness will deal 3000 true damage every time an enemy enters the blue box. So these are super fun to try out because you're basically battling all the enemies as Doctor. The more you eat up the enemies, the more damage you'll be dealing back. Pretty interesting to attempt, especially because you can gain life points throughout your exploration. Lost in the New World is the example of having more control over your IS2 run. You're going to be given 4-leaf clover early on the first floor, along with Crimson Troop Ticket, which lets you get more recruitment vouchers. For those of you who's been very particular about wanting to see specific classes appearing, or you want to be able to choose your collectibles more often, this is where you can see it happening. Bewildered Hallucination, which is a hallucination that many people have praised to be a good one, will be triggered throughout all 5 floors. So you're going to be battling a lot more this time, getting more recruitment vouchers, meaning more EXP, and then you'll also get more collectibles throughout your playthrough. This would give you the longest playtime you can experience in IS2. Starting from scratch gives you Golden Chalice early in your run, and at the same time it also gives you Supreme Ring and Masquerade Mask, which gives more ingot drops whenever you defeat a battle. There's not going to be any shops appearing, or at most you're going to see it only once. So the probability of obtaining collectibles that gives original ingots directly is also very reduced. Basically, they want you to work your way to increase your original ingots and then see how the ingots is going to apply to the ASPD later on. I've heard from some people that they want to continuously play this scenario since they find it to be a very fun time to enjoy. So it might be the same case for you as well. Ark Raiders is what we call the boss rush of IS2, where you start off with Victorian Scrap Medal and Lieutenant Medal of Honor, both of which will give you more command EXP for every battle you complete. This one is really tricky to deal with because the amount of EXP you get isn't that high to begin with. You do have a lot of hope, 18 hope, meaning you can straight away hire 3 6 stars, whether it's your own or from your friend support unit. You will not be battling any of the normal stages. You will be getting 5 straight boss runs, 4 of which are the mini bosses first, and the final one being a random choice of the 3 available mega bosses in the game. So if you've been looking for a mode to train yourself to defeat the boss, this is the scenario that can help you to do so. you'll probably be attempting it with a few 3-star operators and then hiring out as many good 6-stars as possible to defeat each of the boss. This one will certainly prove to be a challenge for many of you. All the best when trying to do Ark Raiders. Those are all the highlights that I want to give to you guys, and I'll let you all experience the other scenarios that I haven't mentioned over here. This is going to be a very fun game mode. I hope that this enhances your experience in IS2. Let me know if there's a scenario that you consider as your favorite one. Is there something that you're going to keep replaying even after you do the first time clear reward? Or is there even a scenario that you hate to the point where it just gives you a headache instead? Alright, hopefully you all are enjoying the big update of IS2. There'll be more to come at the end of this year, and if not, I shall see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye bye.